All right, Jim, Smoky Lake Maple. I just want to go over a very common adjustment for the thermometer ports on a hybrid pan and a divided pan, and even a flat pan will have an identical configuration. There's a video almost identical to what we're doing here that pertains to the draw-off boxes on a front pan of a high output evaporator. That you can go see that if that's your specific situation. But let's go over this. This is the thermometer port. These are precision cut. That's actually cut by CNC. Those are all the same. The fixture that we use to place it on the pan also places it precision, consistently and repeatably into the pan. So those are kind of fixed. The variance comes from the sheet metal of the pan. I mean, it is just thin sheet metal material. So often you'll have like a little bit of wibble wobble in there. But in this case here, I have this thermometer port in a way where it doesn't, it's tweaked in such a way that I can't even get this threaded. In fact, if I were to center this, yeah, you can see it's going against the floor there, you can see. And if I were to center this so that the stem is touching the floor and it's coming through the thermometer port centered, that's how far off I am. So this shows the severity. It's about 3 inches away from, the stem's only going halfway in before it hits the floor.
So making a small difference in the wall of the pan can
it takes
feel like a lot.
Exactly. It takes very little. Now these are welded on. That causes some deflection in the metal. Anytime you heat metal to the point that it melts, the metal does warp. So you have the weld around the thermometer port. Very close by, you have a weld that goes along the bottom of the pan in the case of a hybrid pan. That's not the case with a divided pan or a flat pan. There's not a weld on the bottom, but just the weld from the thermometer port is enough to do it. Now this is stainless steel. It's very hard, very strong stuff. Use any kind of metal that you have, preferably not like a small diameter screwdriver. Try to get something that fits in there. This isn't even tight, but I can kind of put this in to a point where it kind of jams tight on the threads.
What is that?
This is just a ratchet wrench, but any darn thing you have. Don't use the stem of your thermometer because it is hollow and it's not very strong. You can bend and damage the stem of your thermometer. Don't use that. But anything, like even a strong wooden dowel would probably be enough to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to crank down on this and pull up on the inside at the same time. So I'm just putting really mild force on that, okay? I didn't go very far yet. Let's just see how we did. There, I'm already getting it threaded in, no problem. But it is touching the floor. So I got it threaded in, touching the floor. I don't really want it to touch the floor. So let's take it a step further. And I use such mild pressure that I could have done it with my, in fact I will. I'm just gonna do it with one finger now, okay? I'm gonna bring it the rest of the way. I'm using very mild force. Now it's in and it's not touching the bottom. And it's not like you can look at this and say, oh, now it's all bent and damaged, and it's not. Nothing changed. You didn't even begin to think about compromising the integrity of the weld. The sheet metal is more than malleable enough to handle that. That's how that's to be adjusted. It doesn't take much. It's not damaged if your thermometer is not fitting. It's just not adjusted. Any other questions, reach out.
All right, just an example of how a little itty-bitty thing can make a small tweak can make a big adjustment. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.